Alright guys, so I just want to do a little bit of a video talking about the FNAF 2 movie and theorizing, guessing what animatronic cameos are going to be in the movie. So I've got a list of animatronics here, and the first thing I want to go through with them is that apparently there was one kind of like animatronic cameo appearance that Piper Rubio, who plays Abby, apparently got really freaked out and went crazy over. She lost her mind. And if you don't know already, apparently Piper Rubio is actually a pretty big FNAF fan, and I think she knew of it before she even got the role in the first movie as well. So she's a pretty big fan, which is really cool. So her being a big FNAF fan probably plays into what character would make her freak out the most, probably. So I'm first going to go through the list of animatronic characters and see how likely I think if they are or are not the animatronic that freaked Piper Rubio out. And then I'm going to go over the list again based on how likely I think that animatronic will actually appear in the movie or not. Let's start off with the more obvious ones, with the Easter egg characters that appear in FNAF 2. So let's start with Endo 2. He's cool, but I don't think Endo 2 would make her freak out. I think he's, basically, I'm not going to even talk about him later on in the video because I think he's pretty much confirmed that he's going to be in it. There's literally, like, why would he not be in it? He's literally just the standard endoskeleton. They put the standard endoskeleton in the FNAF 1 movie, of course, the first movie, but why would they not put Endo 2 in the FNAF 2 movie? I think it's pretty obvious that Endo 2 will appear in the movie. I don't even need to go over him later on. Secondly, JJ, or Balloon Girl if you're living in 2015. I don't think it would be JJ, maybe, but I feel like JJ just being a baby recolor, I don't think it's that too exciting. It'd be really cool, of course, but I don't think it would make her freak out. Now, let's go on to the more interesting ones. Shadow Freddy. I really don't know. It definitely could be Shadow Freddy, but it really depends on what they do with Shadow Freddy in the movie, because are they going to stick with the FNAF 1 design that they used in the FNAF 1 movie? Is it going to be like an animatronic? Is it just going to be a suit? And I don't know if they will be using the Withered Golden Freddy model version, that version where he's just Withered Golden Freddy recolored, because I heard they're just going to be reusing the FNAF 1 movie Golden Freddy for the FNAF 2 movie. They're not going to be making the Withered version, apparently. Assuming they're going to be reusing the Golden Freddy animatronic from the first movie, I don't think they're going to be using Withered Shadow Freddy from FNAF 2, the games, that design, because why would they do that version of Shadow Freddy but not do Golden Freddy? It wouldn't make sense. So I think they would just use the FNAF 1 suit of Shadow Freddy, the classic design. I don't think they'd be using the Withered version. And if it's just the classic version again, I don't see how Piper Rubio would be so freaked out unless it's actually a full-on animatronic, like, not just the suit and parts. And then, of course, I can't go with mentioning Shadow Freddy without mentioning that Max got stuffed in the suit in the first movie. So maybe that contributed to Piper Rubio freaking out and losing her mind over Shadow Freddy appearing. But again, we saw Shadow Freddy in the first movie, so why would she freak out? Unless it's changed up, like with Max being very conscious in the suit or something, or maybe Shadow Freddy standing up fully completed and built and not just in parts. So I think it's possible it's Shadow Freddy, but there's just too many factors to say 100% yes or no. Now, could it be Shadow Bonnie? Is Shadow Bonnie even an animatronic? Would he count? Now, the statement says one kind of like animatronic, so maybe that means it's kind of not an animatronic at the same time, so it could definitely be Shadow Bonnie, and I think Shadow Bonnie might freak Piper Rubio out, but I feel like Shadow Bonnie just isn't special enough, honestly, but it could be him. I don't know. What do you think? Is it Shadow Bonnie? I don't know. Now, is it the Paperpals? And as a side note, I want to quickly point out the Freddy Paperpal. He kind of looks like the bear from the original, like like dog-shaped bears and all that from the original. But the Paperpals aren't even an animatronic. It's obviously not the Paperpals, and I don't even know if they're appearing in the movie. I think there might be some Paperpals in the trailer, but I don't think it's the exact ones from FNAF 2. Who else could it be? That's all the FNAF 2 Easter egg, the main Easter egg characters in FNAF 2. So who else could it be? A lot of people were theorizing that it could be one of the Hoax animatronics, maybe the purple guy animatronic, or maybe the grey puppet or golden toy Freddy. Or maybe it could be the Sugar Hoax. You know how in the prize corner there's that weird shadow, and then someone took Kenny the cat, made by Emil Mako before Five Nights at Kenny's was even a fan game. It was just the character, and they took that and they stole it. For that one FNAF 3 fan game, it got rebranded as something else. I don't even remember the name of that. I think it's very controversial, so I don't think they would do him. So could Piper Rubio have freaked out from one of the Hoax animatronics? I think it could be, but the main thing I want to point out is I'm not trying to sound like I'm gatekeeping here, but Piper Rubio is quite young, and I don't know how active she was back in like 2015, or if she would have been old enough to know these hoaxes, and of course she could have just seen these later on after these were confirmed as hoaxes. But my real question is, would she have as much as a connection to these hoax animatronics as compared to someone who like grew up and saw these hoax animatronics and believed they were real for a long time? I don't know. I feel like it could be, because she probably might know that it's a hoax animatronic that was very popular back in the day, and she might have freaked out like, oh my goodness, Blumhouse really is putting a lot of fan Easter eggs in this movie, and the fans are really going to freak out. I'm going to freak out too. Could be, but I don't know. What do you guys think? So I was thinking like, it might be, it might not be one of the hoax animatronics or the main FNAF 2 Easter egg characters, and then I was thinking, oh, it might be Springtrap. Easy. He's probably going to appear in the film. Maybe at the end is a little teaser for the FNAF 3 movie. But I started to think about it more. But Springtrap he's not an animatronic, is he? He's partially. But in terms of like the production, like of course in universe he's half animatronic, half human. But in real life, obviously in the making of this movie, he'd be just Matthew Lillard in a Springtrap suit probably. So yeah, after that I was thinking, maybe it isn't Springtrap because he's not really an animatronic. But then I read the statement again, like I mentioned before, when referring to Shadow Bonnie. The statement says one kind of like animatronic. And Springtrap, yes, he's one kind of like animatronic. And they could be talking about maybe the in-universe, because he's one kind of like animatronic. Like I said, he's a mix of animatronic and human. And maybe they also say that to not give away that it's Springtrap. So after rereading that statement, I think it's very likely that it's Springtrap. I think he's probably the highest. I'm pretty confident it's Springtrap, but there are some other candidates, but I really think it's Springtrap, honestly, because of that. The way the statement is worded, I think it is Springtrap. Now, we of course know they're doing flashbacks, of course, so it could be Springbonnie, but again, like what I was saying with how we already saw Shadow Freddy in the first movie, we already saw a version of Springbonnie in the first movie, and we already know Springbonnie's going to be in it because we saw him in the FNAF 2 trailer, so we know he's going to be in the movie, so it's not really much of a surprise. So I don't really think it's Springbonnie at all because of those reasons, and even if they did an animatronic and a costume version of Springbonnie, I don't think that warrants Piper Rubio to be that freaked out as it was described. I don't think she would freak out that much, so I don't think it's Springbonnie. Now, of course, you can't go with mentioning Springbonnie without mentioning Fredbear. Could it be Fredbear? Now, with the specific context of one kind of like animatronic in the statement, I think Fredbear kind of is as well, because he's a costume, but he's also an animatronic endoskeleton character with, if he goes into performing mode, but he does fit into the criteria of one kind of like animatronic. The question is, would they make Fredbear a Springlock suit and someone be him, maybe Henry? Or they do an animatronic and show the bite or something? I don't know. But I think it possibly could be Fredbear. I think he's a pretty high candidate, honestly. But would the animatronic that freaks Piper Rubio out into being really excited, would that animatronic have been in the same scene as her or not? Because I don't think Fredbear would be in the same scene as Abby, but of course she could have just been on set seeing it or something, or seen it at like one of the warehouses or the workshop or something. I don't know, but I don't think that's a factor. I think it could be Fredbear. I'd probably put him second most likely, right under Springtrap. Next up is Circus Baby. Now, I'm going to go into the can of worms, that is, will Circus Baby appear in the FNAF 2 movie or any FNAF movie? I'm going to go into that later on in the video. But would Circus Baby appearing in the FNAF 2 movie make Piper Rubio lose her mind? I think it definitely would. Now, the likelihood of Circus Baby appearing in the FNAF 2 movie does kind of play into my ranking of her, but I think she's more likely than Springbonnie, and then I think Fredbear's above that, and then at the top, Springtrap. Now, I've got one more I want to talk about, and this one is pretty exciting. Could it be the Mimic? Again, I'm going to talk about the likelihood of him actually appearing in the FNAF 2 movie later on alongside Circus Baby. But would the Mimic make Piper Rubio lose her mind? Could it be the Mimic? I think there's a chance, honestly. I think, if Piper Rubio is really, in touch with the newer games, obviously, she's into it, so she's definitely into the newer games. She's probably just seen Secret of the Mimic and all that, and Ruin, and with the Mimic being the main villain, I think it's definitely possible that a character as big as the Mimic would really freak her out and make her really excited. Now, likely going into the possibility of the Mimic appearing in the FNAF 2 movie, Would they add such an important character from the main ongoing Steel era into the FNAF movie universe? At least with Circus Baby, her arc is kind of over, and it was in the classic Scott Games era of FNAF. But then it could sway either way, because then they're adding something that's modern as well, mixing it with the old. And of course, there's no timeline issues, unlike with the Glam Rocks. And also, it would definitely promote the newer games, ongoing Steel games. And it would also definitely make the fans and Piper Rubio lose their minds. And because of this, I think the Mimic is tied for 3rd place with Circus Baby. It could be higher or lower depending on how you look at it. Now, who do I think was the animatronic that freaked Piper Rubio out? I think it was almost definitely Springtrap. I think because of the statement being worded, one kind of like animatronic, that is a very big clue. And also Springtrap, he would definitely freak Piper Rubio out with him being such an important character and such a crazy horror franchise icon. I think it is him. Almost definitely. It could be Fredbear, and then after that, it could be Circus Baby or the Mimic, but I think it's almost definitely Springtrap. There's almost no doubt about it. Alright, so now I'm going to go over all those characters again, looking at the likelihood of them appearing in the FNAF 2 movie. Endo 2 is pretty much almost a guarantee, like I said before. Same thing with the Paperpals. I'm not sure if they were in the trailer or not. I don't think they were. Maybe not. But I think the Paperpals, at least in some form, maybe not the exact ones from FNAF 2, but some Paperpals will appear in the FNAF 2. I think it's pretty likely. JJ, I do think JJ is going to appear in the movie. I think it's a pretty obvious Easter egg character choice. Whether that's animatronic or if they're just going to use the Balloon Boy one and just edit it in post-production, I don't know. Not sure if they're going to try and change her up, like make it less of a recolor or something compared to BB, but I think JJ will appear, yes. Shadow Freddy, I think he's also a pretty obvious choice. He's definitely going to appear. Whether that's the Withered version, I don't know if that's going to happen, or the classic version. I think at least the classic version will appear. I think Shadow Freddy will appear in some form. Whether that's an animatronic or just as a broken up suit as well, I don't know, but I think Shadow Freddy at least will appear in some form, definitely. RWQFSFASXC, aka RXQ, aka Recrucifix or Shadow Bonnie. Yes, I think Shadow Bonnie as well, I think definitely will appear. There's so many characters, Easter egg characters in FNAF 2, I think all of them are going to appear. They're very obvious choices, because there was a statement about the animatronic cameos, and I think they said there were going to be some obvious ones and some less obvious ones. Well, I've gone over the obvious ones, but there's also one other obvious one I want to talk about quickly, which is Sparky, of course. I think Sparky will appear, maybe similar case to Shadow Freddy, where I'm not sure if it's going to be just the suit in pieces, or if it's going to be the fully assembled animatronic suit, or maybe like a withered version, I don't know. Also, the endoskeleton Tina or Arnold might appear, I don't know, but it's kind of, since Endo 01 base, I don't know, and it was stuck in the first pizzeria, I don't know, maybe it'll appear just broken up in the background when they revisit the first location. Same case could be for Ella and the Freddy torture chair, and also the, technically still the Freddy torture chair, but the weird dismantled endoskeleton on the ground there with the weird animatronic parts on it, the costume parts, like it's half-finished Fredbear, which we'll go on to a bit later on again. But now let's talk about the Hoax Animatronics again. The purple guy animatronic, I think he's probably the most likely Hoax Animatronic to appear. I think a lot of people thought he was fake back in the day. I think a lot of people quickly caught on that it was clearly Withered Golden Freddy edited, and that he's not real. But still, he was pretty prominent, and I think he will probably get some sort of mention in the movie. I think his costume will be there. I'm not sure how they would integrate that with the lore and the story, or maybe just say it's just an Easter egg. It's not anything serious. I don't know why there would be a purple guy animatronic suit or something. Maybe in a drawing, maybe, or something like that, or some doll. Maybe not like a full-on animatronic, but I think the purple guy animatronic thing will appear. But I think that's the most likely candidate for a Hoax Animatronic cameo. Now, the grey puppet. I don't know how they would do this. Actually, I can come up with a couple ideas. Maybe they could do it like where it's like a flash on the screen in different colors or something, or on the TV screen, or in the drawings again or something. When you think of FNAF Hoax Animatronics, does this one come to mind? I think this would be one of the later ones that would come to mind, but I think it does come to mind when you think of FNAF Hoax Animatronics. I do kind of remember this one back in the day, but I think it was very brief. I don't remember it too much, but I do remember it. Now, up next, the Golden Toy Freddy Animatronic. I don't know how they would do this. Again, I don't know how they would do this without messing with the lore, because it's Golden Freddy. Kind of. Golden Toy Freddy. Is it gonna be just a form that the spirit takes on in like a vision maybe? Like just taking after normal Freddy, like what people say Cassidy does in the main games, taking after the Freddy that's currently on stage with like classic Freddy. Something like that, or something maybe it's just gonna appear in a drawing, or it's like a doll or something, or maybe like a chase figure or something, and like a little cardboard cutout, like it's like a little McDonald's toy, like a little plastic toy, and it's like the chase figure or something. I don't know. Maybe something like that. Maybe they could do something like that. But I just don't know how they would do it without messing with the law. What do you guys think? I think there's a chance, but I don't know, really. Now, Shadow Balloon Boy, I think they could probably just do something like, just have Balloon Boy in like the shadows or something, and then just give it the white glowing teeth and the white glowing eyes or something in the shadow, or just have Shadow Balloon Boy just appear next to Shadow Bonnie or something, or have Shadow Balloon Boy flash somewhere. I think they could have him pretty easily, insert him in pretty easily. But when you think FNAF 2 animatronic hoaxes, do you think him? Will they do him? I really don't know. He was also kind of tied strictly to the Android version, so how many people really know about him? Because I remember people were saying he was in the Android version only, but I don't know. I think there's a chance, but I don't know. I think he's more likely than Golden Toy Freddy, honestly, maybe around the same. A bit higher than him. I think Grey Puppet, though, compared to him, I think Grey Puppet has more of a chance. A lot of these I don't know, but this one I am pretty confident with my answer on. With Sugar, aka Candy, like I said before, he was stolen by this guy who made a FNAF 3 fan game, trying to make it like seem like it's the real FNAF 3, and then I think it was renamed to another fan game. It was the Return to Freddy's, I think. Yeah, the Return to Freddy's was rebranded as. And I think the guy, the creator who made that game, like, he ended up being not a very good guy. I don't want to say he was a very, very bad man. Just put it, say the least. I don't think this guy's gonna appear because of the history of this character. I don't think Sugar's gonna appear. Maybe Candy the Cat could. I don't know, but I feel like it would be acknowledging this part of the FNAF fan game history a bit too much. Maybe with this character being stolen, especially because I think you'd have to tie it with the weird shadow in the prize corner, Candy. I think you'd have to tie it to that. I don't know. They could just completely ignore that altogether and just have Candy in there. Yeah, since we're talking about Candy, I might as well talk about Popgoes as well. I think Popgoes as well could have a small chance, but I think it would be very small. I think Candy has a chance of actually being an animatronic, but it's very small. Popgoes, I think he would probably appear, like I said, with like Golden Toy Freddy and the purple guy animatronic. He might just appear on a drawing or like as a plush figure or something. I don't think he would get animatronic at all. Candy might get animatronic, but it's very unlikely, but he might. I think Candy as well, he might get some sort of plush or in the drawings or something, maybe at least, maybe, but even then I don't know if either of those two will show up. Now, what about the Withered Toy animatronics? I really don't know. I don't think they would appear. Maybe some sort of hallucination or something, but it would if they appear physically, it'd have to be some sort of lore significance. Maybe they get broken down and then they get put in the FNAF 3 box or something. I don't know, but even then the damage, the FNAF 3 box, the toy animatronic heads weren't damaged at all, really. So unless there's some sort of lore significance where they get destroyed, I think they would only appear in like hallucination. Even then, it's a very slim chance, but I don't think they're going to appear, honestly. I don't think they will. Alright, so now I'm done with all the hoax animatronics. Now, what about Springtrap? Moving on to him. I don't think the question is if he will be in the movie. I think the question is how much of him will be in the movie, because I think we will almost definitely get some sort of teaser for the third movie with Springtrap to some degree, but I think they will most likely save him mostly for the third movie, so I don't think he would have a very large role. Maybe near the climax of the movie he'll appear and it's revealed that William Afton is still alive as Springtrap, and he comes back. You get the reveal, the introduction of Springtrap for the third movie, and he's like, oh, I'll get you guys next time. I'll always come back. I'll get you next time, Mike. And then they save that for the next movie. I think they will introduce him, but maybe they'll just do him a little tease at the end of the movie where he's just revealed in the safe room or something. He just breaks out or something. Or maybe they'll just do it in the post-credits. No, we've got the post-credits. It was already leaked, guys. If you guys want to check it out, it's a very, definitely 1000% real leak. I did not make that in Blender. It's not based off a very popular, but kind of forgotten / niche Five Nights at Freddy's SFM series. It's definitely a very real post-credit scene leak, so make sure you guys check that video out with the post-credit scene. So we know he won't appear in the post-credit scene, so I think most likely he will appear in the climax because they're going to want to use him in the marketing of the third movie. So I think Springtrap will pretty much definitely appear in the FNAF 2 movie at the end climax. I think he definitely will be. Not sure to what degree his importance will be to the plot and all that, but there's almost no doubt about if he's going to appear in the movie or not. I think the same thing with Springbonnie and Fredbear, or Springbonnie's already been confirmed for the movie, technically in the trailer too. So Springbonnie will definitely appear, and I think you can't show Springbonnie without Fredbear. So I think we definitely will see Fredbear again. I'm not sure if he's going to be in performing mode or if he's going to be like Henry in the suit or something. I don't know, but I think Fredbear will definitely appear in the movie. And do I think he will appear in the form as the Fredbear torture chair? I think will we get an explanation for what that costume is, if Golden Freddy is Fredbear or not? Is Golden Freddy a hallucination? I don't know. He affected the weight of the car, so I think he's got to physically manifest somewhat, but I'm not sure to what degree or not. UnNightmare, but the normal suit version. So basically a Fredbear, but with the yellow accessories and the black fur. I don't know how they would do that, maybe, because I feel like, again, he should have some sort of lore significance, but I feel like Nightmare, since he's kind of supposed to be Shadow Freddy, I don't think they would do him, but it's possible maybe his parts appear in the back room, kind of like what they did with Shadow Freddy in the first movie and all that, and Sparky, but I don't think UnNightmare will appear. I don't think he will. The Twisted Ones, or the Twisted Wolf, I should say, will he have some sort of cameo, some sort of animatronic normal version? Possibly, but again, unlikely, but he would definitely be a quote-unquote less obvious cameo. I don't think the Wolf animatronic will appear. Even less likely is Fourth Closet Funtime Freddy, because again, you can't have Funtime Freddy and not have Circus Baby and all that. I don't think they would do that. So I think he's even less likely than a normal version of the Wolf animatronic. Speaking of wolves, will they do like some version of like Roxy or something, or maybe Monty or something? Will they appear? I think they could. Was there some sort of Easter egg of them in the main movie? On like the glass panel? No, I don't think there was. Maybe I'm just thinking of Secret of the Mimic, but I don't think they would do them, but I think it's possible. But again, they're kind of touching the Steel Wool era. I'm not sure if they're going to touch into that. But it's kind of possible, but I don't know. Now, what about some of the FNAF 6 crew, like El Chip or the Mediocre Melodies? I feel like they would feel too out of place in this movie, but it's possible. But again, maybe they would just appear on some sort of poster or something. But I don't think they would appear physically as animatronics, because they just feel too out of place in this movie, I feel like, honestly. Could be, but then if you do the Mediocre Melodies, you'd have to do all of them. El Chip, you could definitely just do him. Funtime Chica, and then like Music Man. Music Man? Nah, I don't think he really fits, but he could appear like broken up or something in the parts and services or something, but I don't think any of these guys will appear. Maybe El Chip, but I don't think so. Speaking of El Chip, going into Scott's old games, will Chipper or Coffee or something appear in the movie? I think, again, maybe he's an Easter egg, but I don't think even Chipper had a cameo in the first movie or something. I think Coffee might have. I think he did, maybe. I know the Chica's Magic Rainbow did, but I'm not sure about Coffee. Maybe he did already, but will they have a Chipper animatronic? I don't think Scott would do that, but it's possible. I think, again, they just keep it to some sort of poster or some sort of drawing or something, or some sort of toy. I don't think they would do them. Now, Circus Baby, again, kind of continuing on with what I said before about Circus Baby and, by extension, all the Funtime animatronics. Will they introduce them in the second movie? Will they make more than 3 movies and do a sister location movie? I don't know, but because I don't know if they're going to be going more than 3 movies, because I know they've just had a 3-movie plan so far. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing more after this in the main line. I think they probably will, or maybe they'll do it in a spin-off or something. But I don't know if they would introduce Circus Baby in the second movie. But then again, they did Ella from the books, from the novel trilogy, so maybe they could do Circus Baby, but I guess I know that all the movies are trying to be a mismatch of all the games, but they're trying to solely focus on one of them, FNAF 1 being the FNAF 1 movie, and then the FNAF 2 movie being the FNAF 2 movie, of course. I don't see how they could just sideline such an important character in the games and just not have it be a major plot point in the movie. I don't know. They definitely could, but I just see it as very unlikely, but it's possible. Now, the last animatronic I want to talk about is, of course, the Mimic. I covered most of what I wanted to say about him before, but I want to again reiterate, will they touch the Steel Wool era? And since the Mimic's arc is still currently ongoing in the games, I don't know if they're going to do that or not. Maybe they might want to do it to try and promote the games or something, but will they want to touch the Steel Wool era fully? I don't know, because if they introduce the Mimic, then he's like the main villain. Like, again, like what I was talking about with Circus Baby, how are they going to sideline such an important character in the FNAF 2 movie? I don't know how they would do that. Now, we know they're going to be doing spin-off movies, so maybe we could get a spin-off one of the Mimic or something. Maybe, that's definitely possible. Same thing with Circus Baby. or maybe like the Nightmare animatronic or something. All these characters, like I said, with all these characters, even though I said they're unlikely to appear, they still might appear. That's why I'm talking about them. Like, even though every FNAF character could appear in the FNAF 2 movie, there's a very unlikely chance that they will appear. I mean, very, very unlikely chance they will. The main ones that I've been talking about in this video have more of a chance of appearing than in Adventure Endo 1 or Scrap Baby or like Big Top or Jackie or something. Like those other characters that I just mentioned, they have a chance, but it's very, very unlikely, but they might. But the characters that I've been talking about for the rest of the video, they have a higher chance than the rest of these guys, honestly. That's what I'm trying to say, yeah. Are they trying to stick to just the Scott era of FNAF and not the newer Steelwool era? I don't know, is the thing. I mean, there might have been a couple Easter eggs I missed that were referenced to the newer games in the first movie. There probably is, but I can't just remember off the top of my head. But would they go as something as big as the Mimic? I don't know, but I think he'd probably just appear in the closet or something. Maybe. I don't think he'd play a major part. If he does, then he's probably going to be very brief. I don't know. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the video, but the main ones that I think are going to appear is Springtrap. He almost definitely will appear in the movie. Springbonnie, we already know he's appearing, so he doesn't really count. Fredbear, I think he's very, very likely going to appear. The Mimic, I think, is up there, but again, like I said, I'm not sure if they're going to dabble in the Steelwool, like an ongoing game arc or something. It's still ongoing right now, so I don't know about him, but I think he's up there as well. But I think those are the main ones, and the purple guy animatronic, and maybe the grey puppet, some of those hoax ones, I think. But that's it for this video. Another two characters that I don't think will appear in the FNAF 2 movie, but I really hope they do, is Fishton, yeah, and also the very cute, very adorable, and very funny looking 8-bit Golden Freddy. Not the Into the Pit version, because he got very downgraded in that game. He's so unfortunate, man, what happened to him, man. But I think I really want those two guys to appear. The Mimic as well as a third choice, but again, I'm not going to count him. I'm just going to count those other two for my main wish list. But obviously, that's it. Those guys definitely won't appear in the movie. That's what I'm trying to say. But that's it for this video. Bye, guys. Bye.